To begin, go inside your cis120 folder and look for your project folder. You can click on it, right click and duplicate. What you want to do is make a copy of that. So this is your previous assignment. This is this assignment. So I'm going to call this My Cafes 2. And then let's go inside and open up our project. Okay, so let's start from the top. We're going to start by creating another array, and I'm going to call this Cafe is Visited. And within this array, I'm going to store a whole bunch of like false. Okay, basically you can do this 21 times. But what if you have 200 or 2,000 cafes? It's really not practical to actually type it all in like this. Okay, so let's just erase this, and I'm going to type in equal to array parenthesis, and in here you can then go down and note that you have this thing called repeating. Okay, so let's double click it. Here I am repeating false, and for the count I type in 21. Okay, so this is a lot easier than typing in 21 falses. Okay, so now if you click on a particular row, when you run this app and you click on a row, it will then invoke an action that involves a parameter saying did select row at. Okay, so that's the keyword that we want to know. Did select row at. So I'm going to type that in. So right here, did select row at. You see that? Pops up right here. Let's double click it. So within this block of code, we are going to add our option menu. So this is the guy that pops up from the bottom. This is going to be your action, your UI alert action. So let's start by declaring our option menu, and it's going to equal to the UI alert, and it's going to be the UI alert controller right here. Let's double click it. And within this controller, this alert controller, we need to provide a title, a message, and a style. Okay, so here we have it. It's title, message, and style. Because when I click on this, I actually don't have a title, so I'm going to type nil for the title. But for the message, I'm going to type in something like, what do you want to do? And for the style, we can just use, and for the style, it's going to be action sheet. So now that we have our option menu, let's create our first and easy action, our cancel action. This basically is the cancel button. And it doesn't really do much. It's just a UI alert action. It's going to have a title again. And the title for this one is going to be cancel. Okay, and the style is going to be .cancel. And the handler is going to be nil, because we don't have a handler for this. So now that you have your action, you need to add that to your menu. Add action. Cancel action. Let's add another action for making a call. And it starts with a handler. So we need to have a special handler, call action handler. Okay. And this call action handler is going to be a closure. I'm going to use a bracket and then parenthesis. Okay, so this signifies the beginning of a closure, a short, concise block of code. So the action is going to be UI alert action. It's definitely going to have a value, and it's going to return void. So this particular handler is not going to return anything. Okay? In, and then press the spacebar here. Press enter. Now you have some room to work with to develop your call action handler. Let's create our alert message. UI alert controller. So this UI alert controller will have a title, message, and style right here. Double click it. The title for this one is going to be Service Unavailable. Wow. We're just going to hard code this, okay, because we actually don't have cell service in our simulator. And the message is going to be, sorry, can't make a call right now. Okay, and for the style, it will be alert. That's the alert style. Okay, so that's the message. Now let's add an action. This is going to be a UI alert action, and guess what? It will have a title, style, and handler. So the title for this is going to be OK. Alright, so after displaying your service unavailable, can't make a call, so this button will read OK, and the style for this one is default. And is there a handler for this? Nope. So I'm just going to type nil. Okay, so we're not done with the call action handler yet. We need to present. Because I'm inside a closure, I need to use self. And then we do present. Okay, so let's get out of this block of code here. So now that our call action handler is done, let's see if we can actually use it. So now we're going to do call action. Let call action is equal to UI alert action. And we're going to have a title again. Okay. The title for this is going to be call space, and we're going to use a concatenation here, plus quote, and then I'm going to type in like 555-000, and then I'm going to concatenate the index row, the index path row. So if I'm actually on array number 5, it'll be 555-0005. Okay. For the style for this, it'll be default. Handler will put our hard work to work. Call action handler. So let's go ahead and add to our option menu. Add action. Call action. Now that we have our option menu, we need to present. Okay, and we have done something similar before. In the first assignment when we had our alert action and we had to present it. So here we are going to present our option menu. And it has this animated stuff here. So we'll just use true again. And for the completion handler, nil. Okay, so let's click on it. See that? We have our action at the bottom. If I click on call, it'll say service not available. Here's the OK. Click on it again. I can cancel out. And also pay attention to this. See how it goes 0004? If I click here, 002. Okay? That's thanks to the concatenation. Now, of course, if I go all the way down to the bottom, notice the phone number is messed up. Okay? But we can fix this in the future. No big deal. So let's go on with our check-in process. If I click on it, I want to be able to check in at a particular cafe. Okay, let's go back to our codes here. We need to add more action. So we can just go right here. So this last line, this line here should be the last one. So we'll leave it there. In here, we can do more. Okay, check-in action. Go ahead and create our check-in action. Let check-in action equal to UI alert. Here's our title, style, double click it. So the title for this is going to be check-in. The style is default. And the handler, because this is going to be a little bit tricky, so we're going to have to create another closure. Okay, so bracket and parenthesis, and then we're going to type in some codes in here. We're going to have an action, UI alert action, and outside of here, it's going to return nothing. Press IN and space. Let cell is equal to table view dot cell for row. So this is going to be the cell for the row at our index path. Okay, lowercase, don't forget. And then we're going to do a check. If the self.cafe is visited, and this is a Boolean, so it's either true or false, at a particular index path dot row, then we're going to do something. So if this is true, then we are going to uncheck. But if the cafe has never been visited, then we will check it. Okay, so it's kind of like the opposite of what is inside our array. So we're going to do accessory type, okay, is equal to dot none. And because this is true and we're checking it, then as a result, we need to also store the opposite of the array. So the cafe is visited array will be false. Okay. Because it was true. Okay. If it's not true, it wouldn't have gone into this particular condition. But since it's true, then we have to make it the opposite, which is false. Then here we can do an else. So the else means that it is not true. We have never visited this place. So therefore, we can set the accessory type equal to checkmark. And we can also set the array. Cafe is visited, index path, dot row, equal to true. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So here it is. You check in. When you check in, it's going to check to see if what is your state. Have you been here already? If you have been here already, then that check in is really a check out. Okay, so it should set to the opposite of what you have. And if you have never been here, then it's going to have a check mark and it's going to set the array to be true. Okay, so because once you're here, then it needs to set the array. We're not done yet. what we have to do is we need to add our action. So right above here, outside of this whole closure, we need to add our option. We need to add our action to the option menu. Dot add action, and it's going to be the check-in action. Cool. So I think we're done. Let's run this. Okay, so let's click on this, and now we have the call and we have check-in. Let's check in. Notice there's a check mark there. Click on this, check in. Click on this, check in. So if I click on this again, it still says check in, but if I click on it, it goes away. See that? Cool. Wouldn't it be nice if I click on it, I check in, and then when I click on it again, it should say check out. Okay? So let's see if we can code that. And also, notice something kind of strange. If I click on this, and once I'm out, this part is still gray. So let's see if we can get rid of the gray bar here as well. So let's do some more enhancement. Removing the gray bar is pretty easy to do. We'll just have to tell our table view to deselect a row. And we can do that on this very last line. Table view dot deselect. Okay, at our index path. No animation. Okay. So what about the check-in text? Okay, so in this case here, instead of the title for check-in, we can create a variable, okay, that can change based on our condition. What if I type in something like this, check text? Okay, so this is a variable, check text. And then up at the top, we can figure out what to put in the check text. So our check text is going to be a comparison. So we're going to have to do some kind of logic. I'm going to do if the cafe is visited for the index path dot row. So if this is true, I'm going to do check out. Then the value of check text is check out. Okay, so it's the opposite. So if it's true, the value of this text is going to be check out. Otherwise, if it's false, then it's going to be check in. Okay, and notice that this is uppercase and I type in lowercase. Be sure that's correct. Okay, check in. Now when I click it again, it's check out. Okay, pretty cool. And again, this is a shorthand way of doing the if-else. This is called a ternary conditional operator. So we're done with this. So in the next exercise, we are going to create swiping action. Stay tuned.